If I was dropped back into this country, this very same spot, with no gear at all and 800 quid, and I need to get a rig now basically to get up and running and gigging, what would I get with that 800 quid? So I don't have a bass, I don't have an amp, what would I get? But I found something that can potentially make things quite interesting. Budgets are tight right now, but that's no reason to not get a killer rig, or at least a rig that's going to do the job well for now. I'm setting myself the challenge to go online and have an imaginary budget of £800, 400 for the amp, 400 for the bass, and I'm gonna go online and try and find the best rig I can find for a total of 800 quid. Hit that like button. Okay, so firstly I'm gonna show you guys where I would go to look to find basses and good equipment. Okay, now certainly for bass guitars there's no reason not to go second hand. Amps can be a bit more difficult because there's more that can go wrong with them, but I would still look on the second hand market. I get another Patreon subscriber this month, so big up yourselves for that. First place I go today if I'm looking for music gear is this good friend, Facebook. More importantly, Facebook Marketplace. Okay, so if you're looking for a bargain, Facebook Marketplace, this is where you've got to start. Let's have a look. So 400 for the bass, 400 for the amp. I'm gonna scroll through. One thing I like to do is if you get too specific in searches, you might miss out on bargains. So I'm gonna scroll and just see what I find. We also need to get some basic ground level points across, you know, what we're looking for. So I'm gonna say 4 or 5 string. I'm gonna look for 5, but we can make do with a 4. And the amp has to be at least 400 watts. Okay, 300 is pushing it a bit. You know, it's got to be able to keep up with, say, a reasonably sized gig or church service. It's got to be able to deal with a church service, because the bigger the gigs get is the more likely you are to have a proper PA and backline sorted for you guys. So yeah, 400 watts there, 4 or 5 string bass, best we can find for a combined total of 800 quid. Let's go. Now what we're hoping to find with Facebook Marketplace is someone that's having a clear out. You know, they got more gear than they know what to do with, and or, you know, their partner's complaining about space in the house, or they just need some cash, so they got to get rid of what is now an unnecessary piece for them. So that's what we're looking for here, and that's why somewhere like Facebook Marketplace is where you're going to find the best bargains. Not bad, more than what I'd pay for this, and it's an okay base. It will get you going, but we can do better than that with our budget. Okay, so we've kind of found our first potential option here. PV Tour 115 400 watt bass combo. It's not going to blow anyone away in terms of tone, but it's loud, it will have good bass, it will get you through a service. Now I would often say spend more on the bass, on the amp than the bass guitar, but with £800 we kind of have to give and take. Sometimes it might be better, depending on your situation, to get an amp that can do the job and have more to spend on a bass, because that would give us, you'd be able to negotiate that down to £200, no problem. And yeah, then you'd have 600 for a bass, and that gets a whole lot more interesting. So this is going to be noted as one of the options, in the hope that, you know, depending on what you're doing, you might actually have access to better stuff on some other gigs, but this would get you by. Another interesting find here is an Ampeg B3 combo. It's a 15-inch speaker. I'm not too sure what the wattage is, I'll have to check that out. It's obviously a very old amp, not in the best of condition. I'm sure we can do better than this, but we'll save it because they're only asking for 100 quid, and this was 14 weeks ago. So Obviously bigger, heavier equipment is hard to sell, it's hard to move, so we'll bear it in mind. But yeah, it doesn't look like there's too much great stuff coming on. But I'm going to continue on the marketplace for a bit more and then pull out my secret weapon. And here's another example of just how old gear now is tanking in value. Okay, so they're just selling the cab only, but it's a 2x12 Aguilar, so cab, so your tone is there. You'd still need a head, but if you already had a head and you were just connecting up, like, something like this is a good option. And realistically, nobody wants to carry around the heavy gear anymore, so if you want a bargain, buy something old and heavy, and yeah, you'd get that for 100 quid, maybe 120. I've had experience with these in some music university practice rooms and a couple of uni gigs, and I would run a mile from them. They're just simply not big enough, not powerful enough for what you'd need. It won't keep up with an acoustic kit unless you, yeah, it won't. Some of you may disagree, but in my experience, not even close. I would avoid these BG combos completely, but the RH stuff and the RS stuff, that's wicked, and that's actually my main gigging amp now. In fact, this is really beaten up, but I use this amp, the RH 450 head. It's a 210 cabinet, and you know what? I've never needed any more. Never needed any more than it. It's got built-in tuner. I've got tones built in and saved in for when I'm going active, passive, switching from, say, a more R&B, Motown type of sound to something more heavy punching and standing out when I go to a slap. And then you can have a sort of boost section, if you will, more gain and a bit more treble for a solo part. But yeah, this comes with its own trolley. Don't use the trolley too much, the wheels are too small. I broke a head already in that way, but it's a great gigging amp because it's small. It's small, you can pick it up, carry it. I've taken this to and from on the tube, no problem. We've got a Fender Jazz 5 Deluxe. I actually used to own a bass exactly like this, but it was black instead of red. $650 that's a fair price for it. They don't particularly hold their value that well these days for some reason. See, that's the thing. As soon as you start going into the 600 price range, all of a sudden there are more basses that come into your options. So if you had a budget between £1,000 and £1,500, you can get yourself a very decent rig, and maybe that should be my next video in terms of a used rig with a £1,500 budget. So let me know below if you want to see that. But we're working towards an £800 budget, and even if I could get this for just under 600 quid, I wouldn't spend 200 on an amp. You're not going to get anything decent. Unlikely to get anything decent at that price, but I'll save it anyway just in case. This is interesting. We have a Sub Music Man, Sterling Music Man bass, 4-string, £325. Okay, now this is actually quite a good price, and if you're into Music Man, it's got more of a growly tone to it, so it's not really my thing. Having said that, I've played some really nice ones that I would consider. But if you want to spend more on an amp, you could perhaps pick up something like this. You definitely get it for 300. Might even get it for 280, depending on how badly they want to sell. Yeah, this is another option here for our £400 budget. Okay, this P bass, this is kind of like the standard really. This is like, if you're unsure what bass to get, you don't get a P bass. You know, you can't go wrong. You're not going to get turned down from any auditions with a bass like this. It's kind of like your standard bass guitar from the company that kind of set the electric bass off and running. So you can't really go wrong with a Mexican P bass in this budget range. And 400 is about what you'd expect. Depending on the version, you probably get that just under 400. I reckon you could probably get that for 350. Yeah. So this Hartke amp is 350 watts, but it comes with a 4x10. 350 watts from a 4x10, but I'd say that would cut the majority of the stuff you're gonna do, and anything that you need more than that, there will be backline PA, but that will keep up with an acoustic kit, a drum kit. See, it's old, it's heavy. It's not gonna be amazing, to be honest, but definitely usable, and I would choose this over the PV 115. Yeah, I'd choose this over the PV 115 any day of the week. Given when both were new, I would imagine this was a much better system. Yeah, this is 195 offers. You probably get it for about 180, 170, which then gives us just over £600 for the bass. So this can change the game quite a lot. Okay, so this is crazy. This is a wildcard option right here. When I'm looking now, it's like, boy, what you can get second hand. If you were to buy this new, you'd be paying easily 2-3 times as much. But check this out, right? We've got an Ashdown RM 6x10 cab, okay? A 6x10 cab for 100 quid. Most likely because people don't want to move a 6x10 cab about. But combine that with a Mark Bass Little Mark Tube 500 bass head for 300 quid. You've got a 500 watt, assuming this is a 4M cab, you've got a 500 watt Mark Bass rig, Mark Bass head going through a 6x10 cab. That's gonna sound massive. That would sound massive. Okay, and yeah, you can get better gear, but we're talking about an £800 budget for a bass and an amp. Okay, and given everything considered, it's in decent condition. You know, there's a little bit of marks there, but you're not buying it for looks so much. You know, that is a crazy price. So then it's the question of, do you spend the 400 on the monstrous rig in terms of sound and carry it everywhere, and then give yourself 400 for the bass, or would I get the smaller one? It's not even that much smaller. Both of them are a pain to carry around, to be honest, but the other one would give me 600 to spend on the bass. So I'll keep considering the options. I'm gonna keep looking through, seeing what we find. I've not even delved into our secret mission, our secret power, our source, and that secret power are Facebook groups. Okay, because you filter out the majority of the trash. And yeah, there's a lot of people that will post in those groups that won't actually advertise it on Marketplace, on Gumtree or whatever, but base specific groups. Okay, I may have just found my rig. I think I might know what I'm gonna do, but let's wait till the end before I tell you and see if that changes. Look at this, guys. I have a thing for old Yamaha basses, you know. Don't know what it is. This 5-string, it might be because of Nathan East. And Nathan East, I used to really like follow Nathan East, and he kind of always had the Yamaha basses. But this one here, it's going for 200 quid. 200 quid for this. That is quite crazy. Okay, so this group right here, if you're looking for quality gear at a good price, you need to join this group here. Now obviously it's in England, UK, but I'm sure the States have their own version of this. But yeah, if you're based around my way, if you're based in the UK, this is the place to check out. There is killer stuff available here. The question is, are we gonna find something killer within our price range? And because it's more specifically for bass players, chances are the stuff in here is going to be better cared for than the rest of the stuff you see on Facebook Marketplace. Okay guys, and just like that, we have a new contender. Okay, we got a Gensbenz, I don't know how to say the name, so yeah, don't roast me, but a 15-inch cab, 15-inch speaker cab, the 6.0 shuttle amp. Now this is 375 watts at 8 ohms, so you'll get that through this cab. I'm not sure if it's 4 ohms or not, but at full wattage, at 4 ohms, it's 600 watts, okay? So this is gonna be more than enough power, and it's a newer rig. It's gonna be a little bit lighter than the other stuff that we looked at, easier to throw in the back of the car. So I am shifting a lot more towards something like this, and 350 is a good price for this combination. So yeah, if you're in the UK, guys, jump on this if you're looking for a bass amp. Depending on the bass, I find this is my favorite so far. This is what, yeah, this is taking top spot in terms of amp, which means only got 450 to spend on a bass. But well, again, we'll see what we find. And some of you, I'm hoping there's going to be something in particular that comes up that many of you will be familiar with. I wonder if you've guessed which bass I was talking about. It's one I've spoken about before that we all know is incredible value for money, but let's just demonstrate this now. You can get a second generation Marcus Miller Sire V7 5-string bass for 457 quid right now, brand new. That means if anything goes wrong, you've got warranty, you know, you can take it back to where you got it from. Honestly, for the money, brand new, yeah, these basses here, it's ridiculous that you can get a bass like this that sounds as good as this for that price, brand new. Okay, you're paying that for second-hand Mexican-made Fenders. Okay, the only reason you are is because of the name. 457. Okay, this combined with the other, you could pick some of the options we looked at amps if you don't mind carrying around heavy stuff and have some change. Okay, you could get the heart key set up and be all in for 657 quid for a rig, pushing it by about 60 quid. If you got the Mark bass amp with the 6x10 Ashdown cab, that would be a monster rig. That would be a monster rig. In terms of sound, you're not gonna notice the difference in sound by getting this bass to anything else. But we're gonna keep looking in the group because you never know, some things come up and surprise us. Okay, so I've made my decision on what I think, what I would choose if I had £800 to spend. Okay, I'm gonna throw in two options here, depending on how I was feeling. The bass, the winner is probably not what you think. This BB Yamaha is just so crazy for 200 quid, and it's different. Like, it's different. If I had that budget and I had to get something now, even though Sire's what I know, and I know I'd get an amazing sound out of the Sire, purely because the Sire has more of a budget stigma and the older Yamaha basses are kind of coming back in fashion, I would probably do better commercially with this than the Sire in that price range. Just in terms of the sort of work I do, this would be my choice anyway. If I had about 500 left in the budget to spend on the bass, 500-600, this one, which there's not a lot of difference between them, but just the finish, the grain, then 100% I'd get this. But given the budget constraint, I would get this because it is half the price, literally half the price of the Sire, less than half the price, and then the Gensbenz rig. This right here would be a powerful combination that would hold you up for the majority of gigs, and then you can connect to PA through that out of the amp. You can have a DI chain going. In fact, with this you could spend 350, you'd have 550 all in, what, 250 quid to play around with. You got change, that will get you 10 sets of strings. It could go towards a pedal. Yeah, you could put it towards a second-hand Novation bass station or something. Yeah, so there's 250 here for bass station 2 in London. So you'd be £50 short of having a bass station as well with your rig. So synth bass, for an extra 50 quid you could have a synth bass set up, and that's what I would do. I would get the Yamaha BB bass, I don't know which exact one that one was, the Gensben rig, and this Novation bass station, throw on an extra 50 quid. All of that you could get for 850 quid, or even if you're just getting the bass and the amp, 550 quid, and that would just about get you the Sire that I would have got brand new. Okay, this is why it's good to get into some Facebook groups and check Facebook Marketplace for second-hand gear. The quality of equipment you can get now is crazy. And another wild card is, if most of the places you go, they've got the power, most of the places you gig in, they've got kind of backline on the powered amp, I would opt to get an Aguilar tone hammer DI pedal instead of the amp, and then you can just DI straight out of that into a desk, or run it into a preamp off the backline, or return input. So this is what I would do. That's my rig. That's my £800 challenge. Managed to do it in £550, and yeah, it could have been £850 if I got a synth bass rig in there as well. So let me know below what other challenges, what other budget rigs, what you want to see. We can look at things, and I can try and find good ways to show you how to get cheaper gear, because that's what I did as I was a student. I built my own bass for 40 quid. I bought one of those kits on eBay, so I'm going to have to show you guys that at some point as well. But yep, everyone, thank you so much. Thank you to my Patreon subscribers. Subscribe for more videos like this, more bass lick breakdowns. Like the video, hit that like button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay bass clipped.